I used to believe I had the perfect marriage. My husband, Nathan, was charming, a little quiet but sweet, the kind of guy who remembered your coffee order and rubbed your shoulders without being asked. We met at a bookstore, dated for 2 years, and got married on a rainy autumn afternoon. He felt safe, real. For the first year, everything was normal, better than normal. Then the nightmares started. Nathan would wake up in cold sweats, muttering things I couldn't understand, names, dates. Sometimes he'd grab me in his sleep, gripping my wrists like he thought I was someone else. The next morning, he'd act like nothing happened, said he never remembered his dreams. I let it go, because don't we all have things we don't talk about? It changed the day our water heater broke. We were digging through the basement for the old manual when I noticed a loose board behind the boiler. It looked like it had been pried off and then nailed back on. I pulled it off and found a box, old, wooden, sealed with duct tape. I thought maybe it was old family stuff, childhood things he'd tucked away. But inside was a leather-bound journal, thick, worn at the edges, and when I opened it, the first page simply said, Confessions. I read it. I shouldn't have, but I couldn't stop. Each entry was dated, precise. He wrote in detail about watching women, following them, learning their routines, how long it took before he struck, how clean the job was, how long they lasted. He described the sound of their breathing as it changed from panic to silence. There were 17 entries. 17. At first, I thought it was fiction, maybe a messed up writing project. But the names, they sounded familiar. I searched one. Jessica Myers. Vanished 3 years ago, walking home from class. The second? Leah Kim. Unsolved case. No body ever found. Every name matched a missing person from a different state. Every single one. I wanted to run, but I was frozen, because the last entry was written a week ago, and it didn't just describe the woman. It described her apartment, her hairbrush, her chipped blue mug, my mug. It ended with, I still love her, but I have to finish the pattern. That night, I didn't sleep. I hid the journal in my coat, left the house before sunrise, and drove to the police. I told them everything. They took the journal, said they'd investigate, told me to stay somewhere safe. I checked into a motel under a fake name. I kept my phone off and waited. 2 days passed. No calls, no updates. Then my motel room phone rang. I answered, heart racing. A voice on the other end, calm, familiar. You shouldn't have gone into the basement. Click. No one had my location, not even the cops. Unless I grabbed my bag and found a small black box tucked in the side pocket. A GPS tracker. He'd bugged me. That night, I ran. Again. Different motel. Different state. But the nightmares came with me. And every time I look at a shadow in the mirror too long, I swear, I see his reflection instead of mine. Yesterday, I got a package. No return address. Inside was a single page, torn from a leather journal. On it was a date. Tomorrow. And one sentence, 18 completes the cycle. I was never wife number 1, just number 17. He left me on a Wednesday. No warning, no note, just gone. I came home from work to an emptied closet, a missing toothbrush, and a phone number that no longer rang. We'd been together for 2 years. 2 quiet, ordinary, blissfully dull years. So when Eric disappeared, I did what anyone would do. I fell apart. I called his family. They didn't pick up. I reported him missing. The police barely listened. He probably needed space, they said. Maybe he did, but he took something with him. Something I can't explain. The first package came exactly 1 week later. I thought it was a late Amazon delivery. No return label. Brown cardboard. I opened it absent-mindedly, expecting socks or vitamins I'd forgotten ordering, but inside was a finger. Human. Pale. Cold. The nail still painted with a tiny red scratch. Eric's birthmark. Shaped like a comma, just below the knuckle. I dropped it. Screamed. Called the police. They thought it was a prank. Took the box. Filed a report and told me not to worry. Probably some sick joke, they said. I didn't sleep that night. A week passed. Then came the second box. This time, it was in here. Perfectly clean. No blood. just sealed in plastic like it came from a butcher shop. Inside was a note. You weren't listening. I called again. The police returned, annoyed this time. Still no proof it's your boyfriend, they said. They ran DNA tests, promised to follow up. They never did. That night, I dreamed of Eric. He was standing in our kitchen, smiling, but wrong. His mouth didn't move when he spoke. You always said I never opened up. Box 3 came the next week. His hand. Wedding ring still on, even though we were never married. No note this time. Just the severed hand. Palm up like it was offering something. I started to lose it. Boarded up my mailbox. Changed my locks. Moved into a friend's spare room. Didn't matter. The 4th box was waiting for me in her fridge. His eye, staring up at me, as if it never stopped watching. That night, I dug through Eric's old things, desperate for answers. Found his old notebooks, and something tucked deep behind his dresser. A leather-bound journal. I'd never seen it before. Inside were dozens of entries. Not about me, not about anyone alive. Each entry described a person, a trait, and a final note. Marked. Some names were scratched out, others weren't. My name was at the bottom. The entry read, Marcy talks in her sleep. Never really listens. Still doesn't know. Final cut. Heart. I threw up. I wanted to believe it was a joke. Some weird fantasy writing. But everything inside me screamed, it wasn't. I went to the police again. They said I need a therapist. They gave me pamphlets. I burned the journal. Box 5 came 2 days later. No label. Just sitting on my windowsill like it had grown there. Inside, his teeth. All of them. Arranged in a perfect grin. With one extra thing beneath them. A Polaroid. Eric's face, what was left of it, propped up like a puppet. Eyes missing. Skin peeled. A crude smile stitched onto what remained of his mouth. In the background, my house. I stopped leaving. Stopped answering calls. Boarded every window. Taped every vent. Tried to remember every small detail about our life. Every red flag I ignored. I even wondered, had he ever really loved me? Or was I always just next? Then came the final package. I woke up to it in my bed. No box this time. Just a piece of skin. Laid across my pillow like a love letter. My name was carved into it. Deep. The police finally took it seriously. They opened a full investigation. Ran the DNA from the boxes. The results came back. And that's when I finally broke. None of it matched Eric. Not the finger. Not the ear. Not the hand. Not the teeth. Not even the skin. The only match was the eye. One eye. One part. Everything else belonged to different people. They're looking for them now. All of them. Whoever they are. Whoever he is. Because Eric never existed. There are no records. No ID. No birth certificate. No tax filings. Nothing. The lease was in my name. The credit cards were in my name. Even the photos on my phone, half of them are blank. The ones where we're together, his side is always just gone. I don't know who I lived with. I don't know what I loved. But I still get packages. Not every week now. Not all at once. But sometimes, when I open the mailbox, I find things. A thumb. A lock of hair. A photo of me sleeping, taped to the lid. The last one had a note. You don't get to forget me.